Well, a very good evening to you and many thanks for joining us today. This is the trending news on this 22nd day of January 2023, on a day that President William Ruto has met with Chief Justice Koome, even as Raila Odinga continues to castigate the judiciary led by its president, that is Chief Justice Koome, in regards to holding a meeting or having a meeting with the president and the executive together with the leaders of the legislature. This is what, of course, Raila Odinga has been talking about ever since President William Ruto welcomed the Chief Justice to discuss the issues surrounding corruption within the judiciary. The president, his deputy and their lieutenants, of course, continued with sustained attacks on the judiciary. Now we kickstart our bulletin with that particular story. And President William Ruto on Monday morning held a meeting with Chief Justice Koome at State House, Nairobi. This is in a bid to end the standoff between the executive and judiciary over corruption claims on judges. The meeting follows public pronouncements by the two, who said they are ready to meet and resolve the tiff between the judiciary and the executive. In a media address by the Judicial Service Commission on January 15th, the Chief Justice said the Commission had reached out to President Ruto for a meeting to discuss any issues they have with the judicial arm. Speaking of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, Deputy CJ Philomena Mwelu and Attorney General Justin Muturi were also part of that particular meeting. And a few minutes ago, of course, the resolutions of that particular meeting have been released, and of course, it has been agreed upon. I'll just read through some of the, things that the three arms of government of that particular meeting has achieved. And one is that the corruption remains an existential threat to the nation, which has, of course, permitted the three arms of government, undermining our country's tremendous development potential and sabotaging the much-needed transformation of our nation. Now, again, that is number two. Each of the three arms of government commits to enhance service delivery, fight corruption, and promote the overall administration of justice to enhance accountability to the people of Kenya. Number three is that the executive, legislature, and the judiciary agree to individually develop policies, guidelines, regulations, and legislative proposals to achieve the objectives of fighting corruption, improving service delivery, and enhancing institutional accountability to the people of Kenya. Now, number four is that within 30 days, each arm of government will submit the proposals made to a forum of the National Council of the Administration of Justice, convened by Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice. Now, this forum will provide a roadmap for the immediate, medium-term, and long-term measures to be undertaken. Finally, number five is that, or rather, before I jump to number six, is that the meeting agreed to optimize the efficient delivery of service and the fight against corruption. The executive and the legislature will support the judiciary's request for additional budgetary support to achieve, among others, the following. Number one, to facilitate the recruitment of additional 25 judges of the High Court. Number two, to facilitate the recruitment of 11 new judges of the Court of Appeal. And number three, resources will also be provided to conclude the vehicle leasing program to facilitate the judiciary's transport needs. And the final agreement from that particular meeting is that the executive, legislature, and judiciary commit to perform their functions in a manner that respects, promotes, and enhances the rule of law, institutional independence, and respect for court decisions. Now, still on that issue is that opposition leader Raila Odinga has slammed the move by Chief Justice Koome to meet with President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi, over corruption in the judiciary, describing it as irresponsible. Speaking during the commissioning of the Maweni Water Project to Manda Primary School in Lamu, Odinga stated that this would compromise the judiciary.
Chief Justice, the head of judiciary, has gone for a meeting with the president in the State House. This, in our view, is an irresponsible move. If there's supposed to be a dialogue, this dialogue should be held in a neutral place. State House is the head of the executive, it's the seat of the executive. That's where the president resides. If there's going to be a dialogue over issues of governance, they should be held in a neutral ground. But this means that the judiciary itself is being compromised by the executive. The judiciary is being held hostage by the executive. And we've seen this before. We saw it happen under the rule of Mr. Moi. And we have tried to caution the current Chief Justice not to go to bed with the executive. It is an unfortunate development. And we hope that the rest of members of the judiciary are not going to be compromised. We want the judges to remain firm and do their work in accordance with the law and the constitution of our country. This was a statement that we wanted to make today. Thank you very much.
To matters state of the nation, and a majority of Kenyans are in severe financial distress or struggling to make ends meet, a new poll now shows. The poll by InfoTrack research firm indicates that out of the 73% affected Kenyans, 18% are in severe financial distress, while 55% are struggling to make ends meet. According to the survey conducted between December 18th and 19th, 2023, only 5% of Kenyans are living comfortably amid the soaring cost of living and increased tax burden. Some 22% of the respondents said they are neither struggling nor comfortable. Topping the list of Kenyans struggling based on regions at 78%, followed by Coast at 76%, while Central is third at 74%. Some 73% of Kenyans in Rift Valley are struggling, according to the report. Now, Kenyans aged 18 to 26 years and those above 55 recorded the highest population by age of those struggling at 77%. Now, all boda riders operating within Kitengela town and its environs must register with relevant governing boda associations and their names submitted to the security committee. The directive came following a crisis meeting held between the riders and security officers amid a major ongoing crackdown of riders suspected to have been involved in assaulting a motorist last week.
So, ile kitu iko, tushirikiane, tutengeneze Kitengela ikuwe mzuri. Ikuwe mzuri si kwa wanabodaboda peke yake, ikuwe mzuri kwa watu wote. Wale wanapita barabara, wale wanakuja kutafuta services wenu, msiwapeleke kwa dark areas mahali haina mataa alafu mnaenda kwa red. Ndio tuanze hiyo operation kubwa yenye tunashirikiana na wakubwa. Kitu ya kwanza ni usajili. Nataka usajili endelee. Mimi nitakuja kwa state nione register, nione list. Wale hawako kwa hiyo list watoke nje.
Hiyo ni point number 1. Number 2, mumeniambia niombe bwana OCS na security personnel, si ndio? Tukasema ya kwamba point number 2, sisi kama wana bodaboda, ofisi na bodaboda wote tuko tayari. Wale watu wote wako kwa hizo video tuwatafute usiku na mchana, tuwaeke kwa mikono ya polisi, wabebe msalaba ya. Sio ndio mmesema namna hiyo? Haya, ya tatu pia mumeniambia niombe bwana OCS na serikali, wale watu walishikwa innocent katika ile harakati ya operation, tunaomba waachiliwe, warudi watafutie familia zao unga, si namna hiyo? Haya, point ya mwisho, watu wamesema pia wameomba serikali pia sasa ile kunatokea kisanga yenye mwana bodaboda amedhuru.
Moving forward, Azimio leader Raila Odinga says the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition is intact and will continue to champion for the rights of Kenyans. He says reports by a local daily that there are cracks in the coalition are misguided and aimed at creating divisions in the coalition. Speaking at Manda Island in Lamu County when he launched a community water project initiated by the MCA for Shelawad, that is Atwa Salim, the ODM leader accused the media of being used to cause unnecessary tension and anxiety among member parties and supporters of the coalition and told them to be objective in their reporting.
There is today an article in The Nation which is talking about Azimio. And Azimio is actually breaking up. I want to dispel any rumor that's being spread by irresponsible media that there is no danger in Azimio collapsing anytime soon. really want our media to be responsible. You don't want media to spread unnecessary and irresponsible propaganda. Nobody has left Azimio. Azimio has remained intact, except a few members of parliament who decided to take a walk. But the leadership of Azimio is intact. There is no dissension. There is no disagreement anywhere in Azimio. And that's why we actually are taken aback to see a banner headline in a very senior media in the country. We want to say this is irresponsible journalism that must be discarded. We don't want the media to try to spread despondency among the members of Azimio. We have stood very firm. Azimio is on a course of liberation of this country. Azimio, there may be sometimes disagreement of opinion on one issue or the other, but that itself does not mean in any way disintegration. So I want to inform all our members, wherever they are, across the country, Azimio iko imara. Azimio is remaining united, and Azimio will not break up anytime soon. We are on a course to liberate this country from the tyranny and the responsibility.
Now, residents of Kariobangi South, led by Chairman E-Graders Association Mr. Ayubu Simba, today protested the grabbing of a public utility land set aside to build a rehabilitation center to help the community. They said a private developer was trying to fence it early this morning with the support of the area administration, but they interviewed with the demonstration stopped the fencing.
Hapa kuna developer mmoja mwenye hii nyumba iko hapa. Hata mimi personally aliweza kunitishia Friday. Alisema ataniua. But niko na OB number hapa, niliandikisha pale kwa chief. Niko na OB number hapa. Alisema ataniua kwa sababu ya hii kiwanja. Atoa gate hapa, ailete pale. Na hapa kwetu alisema itakuwa parking. So akitusongesha pale kwa hii gate anaitoa hapa ilete pale, aweze kudevelop area iko hapa. Hapa ni public utility, hapa kuna shamba ya mtu.
Doubling hapa hii area hapa. Na hapa sisi, hapa ni kwetu. Ile kitu yenye hatuwezi uza hapa by force. Wanakuja kutuhesabu by force. Hatuwezi uza by force. Tuko na watoto, tuko na generation. Wote wanakuja hapa. Hapa tunataka tutengenezewe. Alitukana kiongozi wetu wa MP wetu. Hapa atatutengenezea hapa hivi. Watoto wetu watakuja hapa, mnafurahia ama mfurahi? Kwani uongo?
Na mimi ni single mother. Sasa mimi nashindwaje? Tukinyang'anywa kiwanja, tutaelekea wapi? Hapa ndio tunakula, hapa ndio watoto wanafaidikia vitabu. Kwa hivyo tusaidianeni. Nampatie Simba security. Manake
ni kama ana avoid kuja kwa ofisi yetu sisi. Kwa sababu ile kitu nilikuwa nataka angekuja, hata ningeita hao wengine wakuje huko. But hatutamkubalia, wacha tuseme tu hatutakubalia afanye hiyo. Juu mimi sidhani hata vile mnasema, mimi siwezi peana ruhusa ati mtu agrab hapa. Siwezi.
On to a very sad story now, and a 15-year-old girl is trapped underground for 5 days straight as a gold mine collapsed in Nawowo village, a Lale location in West Pokot County. The victim, identified as Nakiru Ngolenyang, was unable to escape during the unfortunate incident that occurred on Wednesday, 17th of January. Speaking to the press, Alale Police Station OCS Geoffrey Ndiwa, who was at the scene leading the rescue exercise, said they are on course and trying everything they can to rescue the girl.
Hii watu alichimba gold siku ya Jumatano, akafunika mtoto. Watu wakaripoti kwa polisi. Mtu ya nyumba hiyo akaripoti kwa polisi. Akakuja na polisi usiku kuangalia. Akakuja kuripoti kwa polisi usiku, polisi akakuja paka hapa, akakuja kuona. Asubuhi watu akakuja Alhamisi kutoa maji usiku mchana yote, usiku yote mpaka asubuhi. Mwili yako onekana mpaka saa hizi.
Ningewaomba sana kama iko njia ingine wanaweza fanya, inaweza wasaidia kuliko hii. Hata watoto wadogo wanaingia ndani, wasichana wadogo, vijana wadogo wanaingia ndani ya hiyo shimo, na ni kashimo kadogo, so it is so dangerous. Ni tuseme Mungu anatusaidia tu, tungekuwa na nini mingi sana.
Well, that particular story wraps up our bulletin at this moment in time, but remember, we'll be coming to you at 7 and of course at 9 with the Spotlight, just to give you a more detailed report on the stories making headlines across the country, including the meeting between the President of the Judiciary, Lady Justice Martha Koome, and President William Ruto. Dr. Odinga has to say in regards to that. But until then, you can visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke just to get an overview of the stories making headlines not only here in the country but as well across the borders. Until then, do have yourself a wonderful evening, and like always, God bless.